Radio Retrofuture.
Where do you think teapot racing will go in the future?
It's going to get bigger because there's more and more people finding out about it. Not very many people knew about it at first, and now as more people find out, more people want to build these things. Especially since steampunk is all about being creative and making your own things, and that's what teapot racing is the chance to be creative. Not just with your racer, but with the bribes that you're giving, too. You know?
Tell us a little bit more about those bribes.
They have to be handmade or homemade. Mostly people have been bringing baked goods, cookies, cakes, that sort of thing. You can make craft projects to give to the judges, or even write poetry. If you are good at poetry, you can write a poem about why your teapot racer should win, or about the judge, complimenting them.
And what other kind of rituals do you have over there?
Well, continuing on the bribe theme, at Anachronistic and Wild Wild West Con, I gave out these I make these little gauges out of copper pipe caps that are very, very unique, and they're all handmade, and those were extremely well received. I'm also making, if you can see it, these
yeah,
The
foam core, isn't it?
little coils. Now this one's not foam core. This is actually 3D printed. Kind of moved up a little bit, but I think that will also make an excellent bribe.
I saw the picture of it, and it looked good to put on the hat or something like that. Yeah.
As far as other rituals, I think it hasn't been around long enough to develop many other rituals.
How long is it now in the U.S.?
Florida just had their first race last October.
And I think that has to be one of the first. We had an Anachronistic in February, and then Wild Wild West Con. Then I did a demonstration at. No, I'm sorry. Then there was International Steampunk Symposium. Then I did a demonstration at Marble City Comic Con to try to get more people interested for next year. And then I'll also be setting up the event at the Steampunk World's Fair, coming up in the middle of May.
Right. So it's not long, not even a year then.
No.
Right.
Gee,
It's grown that much.
It feels it's been around a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
It's a must-have event now, it seems, for every competition, every convention. And what we really need to grow the sport even more is more sets of obstacles.
Yes.
I think Lisa would agree. Yeah, it's you got to have these obstacles to make the events comparable, one to the other, and to get the same flavor.
Yeah,
I know.
Do you have any suggestions?
Well, it takes a champion. It takes a local champion. Someone has to step up and say, "Oh, I'm handy. I'll build the ramps. I'll set up the teapots," and it happens. It does happen quite often. Now at TeslaCon, I was talking with the management for TeslaCon. They're doing something entirely different. They're building a miniature Paris, kind of almost like a, I don't know if you have in Holland the putt-putt golf courses.
Yeah.
They're building a course complete with animatronic obstacles. It's going to be really amazing to see. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to that event, but it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it does. Like midget, instead of midget golf, midget teapots. Yeah. Lisa, do you have any suggestions?
I know I'm not going to be the only one in Florida who has a set of ramps soon. If there is another person building some, because I can't be at all the events. So, that'll help. I'm making my ramp more portable now, using Steven's idea of Velcro, which helped a lot, so I can carry it in the car easier to go places.
Right.
But a lot of it, too, is these people need to see what other people have done and that it's not that hard. My first set of ramps were made out of cardboard, and they worked fine.
Right.
So you need to see that it's not going to cost you a fortune to make these, and that it's not that hard to do.
So communication is probably one of the most important things you guys need.
Right. Yeah.
You need a guy that builds skate parks. That guy. Maybe the local youth center. You can find someone that likes to do that.
Guys
These
who
are a lot easier to build than that. Yeah.
Those guys are interested in these things.
youth centers.
Yeah, the center, the community center.
Yeah.
That's the place, and those have maybe connections to bigger places for indoor activity.
Mm.
Such for these events is
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, well, yeah. When we're making suggestions, if you go to these places and ask them, like, would you like to build something for us like that? And in return, we'll have demonstrations for the local population with our teapots.
The thing is that these aren't hard to build. Anyone could build these. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
They're very simple. So we just need to get more people excited about doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's a way of doing it. But let's continue with the panel. For those that are aspiring to organize such events, what are the definite don'ts? What should they avoid doing? Things that don't work, mistakes you have made in the past with this. Could you think of some, Lisa?
We've been learning as we go. So the first time that we raced, we realized that being on grass and dirt wasn't a great idea.
Okay.
The second time, we discovered that putting any kind of glass on your teapot racer was a bad move. We had a broken teapot, and we had a broken Nixie tube by the end of the event.
Yeah.
So there were little pieces of sharp glass all over the road where we were racing. Then we were also moving everything, which was a problem because we had started out in a tent getting everyone signed up, and then we had to move all the infrastructure into a road to have a hard surface, and then everything had to be moved out of the road so cars could get through afterwards. So that didn't work well either.
All right.
Yeah, deep sand doesn't work. I'll tell you that. And it's if you're for people who are setting up events, space. Just making sure you have enough space. You need a space where your judges can sit and fill out their score sheets and be able to see the entire course. You need some way to keep people back from the course because the crowds will, at least at International Steampunk Symposium, the crowds kept edging up on the course. It's mostly logistics with the having enough space, having a good surface, and having crowd control.
Well, all very useful tips, I'd say. The point system, how does that work? Where do you give points for?
You get points for finishing the course. You get points for your design and your presentation. So if you do a little performance with it, how you're dressed gets you points. How fast you go gets you points.
Okay.
Your control of your car. And we've mentioned the bribe several times. The bribe will get you points. And then you can have points deducted, such as if you're vexing the judge, you can have points deducted.
I love that
one.
Any other... sorry, long day. Any other subject you give points for?
Can you think of any, Stephen?
I can't. There were some other points for the deductions. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't have that sheet in front of me.
Okay. Do you? Is that also on one of the websites you've given us? Oh yes. One thing I wondered: does Teapot Racing have a mainstream appeal?
It could, because you don't have to be steampunk to do teapot racing. The thing that we're going to be doing in Hannibal, Missouri is at a steampunk convention, but they've already told me that regular tourists will be there, and they might want to participate. So they've asked me to bring extra racers so that people off the street can just try.
Okay. Right, so you'll make the teapots available for the audience.
Right. Yeah, I'll bring 3 or 4 extras just so that people can try if they want to try.
Right. How many have you made?
I have 3 so far. The 2 that I've shown you so far, and then I have this one, which is a literary themed one that I'll be bringing to the Steampunk World's Fair.
Yeah, you can do a lot with those themes. Like you could say, well, for the next tournament we're going to have this theme, or for the next tournament we're going to have this theme, and award people points for using those themes, I suppose, if it grows bigger.
But I think it's kind of fun to let people be more creative and just do their own thing.
Yeah.
It's like we had a mother and son who did skulls as their teapot racers,
Right.
and they dressed like pirates. Both of them were dressed like pirates, so they were dressed in a theme to go with their racer.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Very cool.
fun.
How many have you made, Stephen?
Just the two that I've shown, but they both run extremely well, and they've got lots of power. And like Lisa was saying, there are a lot of badly chosen RC as the basis for this competition. Vehicles that will not get up the ramp of doom, which is by far the toughest of the obstacles, and it's very frustrating to see somebody have a beautiful rig and goes fine through the teacup slalom, and then gets to the ramp of doom, and it won't even take the back wheels up on it, just because it simply doesn't have enough power.
Yeah, I think I saw a whole discussion somewhere about the smallest angle they should be allowed to be. What is the advisable angle for the ramp?
Well, the ramp is currently 18 degrees.
Pretty high.
It's fairly steep, and
It's a challenge.
there are some discussions about possibly reducing that, but we haven't got an answer yet.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe a longer ramp for the lower angle.
Yeah, it's more a logistical issue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
This
It
is the half
takes
circle
longer,
ramp.
Carrying things around is tough.
it takes a longer trip. Just give them choices. Yeah, so
Well-
it takes longer if you take the easy road.
I don't want to
There is
carry
another
more
obstacle.
stuff.
Obstacle and the other one is also an obstacle. It's just a choice.
There is another obstacle that they've used. I've seen in Australia, and we also had one at the Wild Wild West Con, and that's what we call the seesaw of indecision.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a board that is on a piece of pipe.
Yeah.
And
Seesaw.
you drive up one side until it tilts down to the other side, and then you drive off of it. So I really love the name, the seesaw of indecision.
Do they just smack down and fall over?
Well, no, they as they drive over, the ramp goes down.
Oh yeah.
Just from the weight of the
One those,
vehicle.
yeah.
No, these ramps with weights on the other end, so if they drive up and then one moment they're gonna tip. And
Right.
the reason for that is that the starting position is always back.
I think the real challenge is to leave is to not have guides on the sides, so that one must stay on the ramp in order to complete without going over.
No.
Yeah, you could think of all kinds of crazy things. You could also start making tunnels, only then you're...
I'm planning on making a tunnel.
Tunnels and adding windmills to the tunnels, so they got the time dead. And you basically just have to visit a midget golf parkour one moment and see what all kinds of crazy obstacles they use there.
There you go.
Yeah, I already made a sign for my tunnel. I just haven't built the tunnel yet. So my tunnel is going to be the Tunnel of Terror. And the terror is that it's made out of empty tea boxes. They're all empty. That's the terror.
All of a sudden, I think that they did that in Robot Wars, where they also had kind of obstacle courses. At a certain point in the obstacle course, they would release a kind of wrecker bot that would chase the robots through the obstacle course.
I would build that ball.
Those Robot Wars out of England, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I understood from this that you're quite a fan of that idea.
Yes.
Let's just for the hell of it, how would you do that? If a group of like 10 people would say we're going to do this, well, how do you imagine that to be?
Well, and when I was building and fighting combat robots, we would typically use one-on-one competition to determine the winner around either round robin or one of the latter type of competition schedules. But then at the end, just for fun, we would always have what we call the battle royale, where you just put everybody in the same arena and the last bot moving wins.
Okay. Lisa, do you have a vision of like a slightly different kind of competition for the teapot races? We already mentioned the jousting and
Right.
the sheepdogs. Do you have your own vision?
I don't really. I'm still trying to perfect how to do this in an outside venue better. So my most recent thing is I've gotten a lot of foam shop mats, and I'm going to build the floor out of that because we've had a lot of problems with surface. We don't, the dirt or the road, neither one has been perfect. So I'm trying to come up with how to do this one better before I branch out into other kinds of events.
Right.
Right. And we're also trying to keep the same rule set and obstacles and event flavor worldwide as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What solutions do you have for that right now?
Well, we try to coordinate with Simone, but she keeps pulling ahead of us.
Could you elaborate? Like, she comes with new things before you, or?
Yes, they're actually doing some sort of gravity competition. They have teapots that fit on these just unpowered wheels, and then they have a long ramp that they mount the teapots at the top, and then let them race downhill by gravity. That lowers the cost of entry even more.
Oh, yeah.
More destructive.
So, do you have so so that's the major obstacle, that they keep coming up with new things, or?
I wouldn't say it's an obstacle. I'd say it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Keep
Okay.
up.
Are there groups in Europe doing this?
I think there are, but maybe you know more about that.
I know there's one in England. I've seen videos from that.
Okay. I know there's also in Germany. It's already quite big, I think.
Yes, I think they have their own website.
I invited one of them, but unfortunately they couldn't, because it would have been nice to hear something about that. But maybe we can. I can arrange a different panel on that some other day. Yeah, and in the Netherlands, Jennifer Fox intends to organize one. Unfortunately, she has a pneumonia, for the people that are just listening in, so she couldn't be here today. Because I also asked her to do the more technical questions, so I'm kind of winging those. So yeah, is there something you can think of that people should know on teapot racing if they want to get into it? Think they have to take into account when making teapots or when they're organizing these kind of events?
Just do it.
Yes, really. Find a venue that's willing to take you. That's been the most helpful thing for us. Is people started asking me, well, when are we going to have a race? I said, oh, I know some people who are having a steampunk event. Let me contact them.
Okay.
And so that's how we had our first race. Is I contacted, it's an antique mall and flea market in Mount Dora, Florida, and I said, can we bring our teapot racing to your event? And they were so supportive. The place is called Renninger's in Mount Dora, and they gave us 2 tents. They made the trophy for us. So you just have to find an event that's willing to do this and that understands how much fun this is going to be.
Okay. You have anything to add to that, Stephen?
No, it's like if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the whole purpose of the Splendid Teapot Racing USA page, was to bring together builders and event people who run events to be able to have the rules available, to be able to have plans for obstacles, so that more people could build obstacles, and that we could get Splendid Teapot Racing at more conventions, because the steampunk conventions are, of course, just the perfect environment for this activity.
Well, I don't have any more questions, so unless you want to add anything else, I think we can go to the closing statement.
Join us at Splendid Teapot Racing USA. We try to be a clearinghouse for all things related to teapot racing.
And you, Lisa?
If you want to do this, just go out, get yourself a remote control car. It's fun to tear apart. It's fun to build the new racer out of it. So just do it. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It's affordable for anyone.